What up, people? How y'all doing? I hope you ever enjoyed your day so far. And I come out with another video after some news on social media about former UH men's basketball player Mor Seck. And that's what this video is going to be about. But first of all, guys, I can't stress this enough, but please subscribe if you think I'm worth listening to, or if you just want to see some more of my games, or if you just want to see some more of my other videos or whatnot. So if you think I'm worth listening to, just hit the subscribe button for videos like this. So with that being said, I've already given the purpose of why I come out with this video. So let's get into this. I'm going to put up my banner here. That's right. Mor Seck transfers to Fresno State. And this came out as news on Instagram just a few days ago. And Mor Seck, as mentioned, Mor Seck, who was on the University of Hawaii for 2 seasons, had yet to declare a major and then ended up transferring out of the University of Hawaii because he felt like his talent wasn't going anywhere, which was very deceiving to me. You know why? Because he was actually playing really, really good. And he looked better than he did a season ago. I mean, do I think significantly better? Yeah, I do. I mean, for starters, he saw his playing time get increased, and he's not afraid to put in those authoritative slam dunks, like what we saw against Northern Arizona, we saw against SMU in the Diamond Head Classic in 2022, and even on UC Irvine on senior night a season ago, and that was Seck's best game. Unfortunately, this past spring, Mor Seck put out a post on Instagram that he was entering the transfer portal, and that was unfortunate because, especially after looking at some past videos on social media, whether Instagram or YouTube, Mor Seck had said himself that, "Hey, I'm an island boy." And unfortunately, do I think he went back on his word? Yes and no. Yet the yes part mainly because he entered the transfer portal. The no part because he was enjoying it. He was enjoying life here. He went to school here. And a lot of us thought, or at least some of us thought, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people who thought that Mor Seck was the heir apparent to Bernardo da Silva's role. And unfortunately, that ain't happening because he ended up transferring out. Now, why did I come through with this video? Because Mor Seck was given offers from quite a number of schools, one of which was Portland, whom we faced in the Diamond Head Classic this past December. And another of those schools, of course, Fresno State, which is where he ended up choosing, but another one of those schools that was offered, UC Riverside. And had Mor Seck chose to play at UC Riverside, he would have become the first in-conference transfer that the University of Hawaii would have suffered to or fallen victim to. And you know what? I think the UH basketball team is not immune to in-conference transfers, at least on the men's basketball anyway. Because we've been part of the Big West for 12 years now, and I have not seen one in-conference transfer from the University of Hawaii to any of the Big West rivals, whether it be Fullerton, Irvine, Santa Barbara, and Cal Davis, just to name a few. So that leads me to believe that the University of Hawaii is likely not going to suffer an in-conference transfer. Now, in other sports, University of Hawaii is not immune to in-conference transfer portals because, or I should say not immune to in-conference transfers because last season, Jada Nielsen on the UH softball team, she entered the transfer portal and landed at conference rival CSUN, which is an in-conference transfer. Whereas in contrast, Brianna Lopez, who is also on the softball team, she transferred to Ole Miss. And in regards to the UH basketball, just about every player that's left the program has gone to a school in a different conference. Most recently, UH has lost, going back a season ago, UH lost Justice Jackson, Beon Riley, Zor Ned, and Amaro Lotto to the transfer portal. And none of those guys had transferred to a different school in the Big West. Amaro Lotto transferred to Lindenwood, Justice Jackson to Tennessee Martin, Zor Ned to UH Hilo, and Beon Riley to Utah Tech. And that's got me thinking that considering that all those guys that we lost, it's pretty clear that that UH is likely going to not suffer an in-conference transfer. And had Mor Seck transferred to UC Riverside, he would have been the first one, which got me thinking that, you know what, UH could be completely immune from in-conference transfers because all the guys that I just mentioned had transferred to different schools in a different conference. Now, some of the reasonings are variable, some of which are because the Big West only takes the top team into the Big West or into the NCAA tournament, whereas other conferences like the SWAC, the Mountain West, or even the Pac-12, they take at least 3 to 5 people. They take 3 to 5 teams to the dance, while the Big West only takes the winner of the tournament. Which is very unfortunate for the University of Hawaii, because that's a winner. That's like a winner go home kind of conference, you know. And obviously, other sports is certainly not immune to the portal, like I was talking about with softball, with Jaden Nielsen and Brianna Lopez. But as far as basketball concerns, I think Hawaii could be pretty much invincible from in-conference transfers, because while UH has yet to lose a player to a Big West rival school, it does happen. I mean, there's always the possibility. And I'm kind of saying that on the men's basketball squad, but whereas in contrast, it does happen to the Wahine basketball team. You know why? Because local girl Lily Wahine Kapu was on Cal State Fullerton for a season. Then she transferred home to Hawaii. And she's probably the only in-conference transfer, at least in basketball anyway, that I can remember that came to the University of Hawaii. So while the women's basketball does go through at least some in-conference transfers, unfortunately, UH doesn't get any of it. And a lot of that could very well be because of our geographic location, because Hawaii is not part of the continental U.S., and neither is Alaska. So we get our own fair share of people who come here for a season or two and then ends up leaving or graduating or whatnot. So something tells me that the men's basketball team, at least, could very well be the one team in the Big West that doesn't get any in-conference transfers or doesn't lose a player to a rival school. And now that I'm just talking about basketball. Now, while the possibility is still there, something tells me that the men's basketball team could very well be immune from that. And the unfortunate part is some of those conference rivals, some of those players on rival schools do not transfer out to the University of Hawaii. Because most recently, UH had lost Mor Seck to the transfer portal, but the portal certainly hit Big West schools pretty hard, because at least every school lost at least one player. Because Vladimir Salaridze on UC Riverside, he entered the transfer portal I haven't heard anything about where he landed. AJ Mitchell, he's on UC Santa Barbara, and he didn't enter the portal, but it's also rumored that he'll be leaving Santa Barbara to declare for the NBA draft. So that's a big loss there. And as far as other in-conference transfers goes, there's been quite a bit between some other schools. Nico Rochak was on UC Santa Barbara. He transferred to UC Davis. And then for other conference transfers, Emmanuel Shimanga, he was on UC Irvine for a couple of seasons. Then he transferred to UC San Diego. And most recently, just before this season started, Fidelis Okereke, he was on CSUN for a couple of seasons. Then he transferred to Cal State Bakersfield. And then a season ago, Chance Hunter was on Long Beach State. He transferred to Cal Poly. And then he had graduated after that. And of course, other guys did leave their respective schools, but a lot of them had left for other schools in different conferences. Most recently, Kobe Sanders had departed Cal Poly, and he transferred to Nevada. And Bryce Pope, he was on UC San Diego. He transferred to USC. And Francis Wakoria also entered the transfer portal. He was on UC San Diego as well. I haven't heard anything about where he landed. And of course, the most recent casualty went to UC Davis because they lost T.Y. Johnson to the transfer portal. And of course, Elijah Pepper, the other half of Davis's backcourt tandem, he's a senior. So he graduated. So obviously that's going to be a different team as well. So the unfortunate part is some of the Big West schools have lost their fair share of talent, and UH is no exception. But the unfortunate part to that is UH didn't pick any of them up like they would have even transferred here. For what it's worth anyway. Because I kind of doubted now that some of those conference school rivals would be eyeing the University of Hawaii anyway, at least on the men's basketball team anyway. And as another note, a frequent opponent who's been on opposing teams that has visited the Stan Sheriff Center, Josh Cohen. You might remember him because he was on St. Francis in 2022-23. Then he transferred to UMass, and he ended up back in the transfer portal, and I think he landed at Arkansas. So that was kind of unfortunate because I don't know if Josh Cohen would have wanted to play for the University of Hawaii, but then again, when he dropped 40 points on us when St. Francis came here in 2022, that could have been a potential pickup. And unfortunately, the University of Hawaii missed out on him. But I don't know if Cohen was considering coming to the University of Hawaii. Probably not. But then again, that was a big loss either way. You see what I'm getting at here? So anyway, as far as that goes, there's been quite a bit of course, the portal has hit some schools hard. And of course, UH is no exception. We lost 4 guys last season, and we lost Mor Seck this past offseason. And I certainly hope we don't lose any more. So I don't know, of course, the Big West, they're a conference that's really short on cash, and you would think that with UH leading the standings in other categories away from the court, like fan attendance, location, or whatnot, that we'd be romping this conference. But unfortunately, we aren't. But then again, this team has faced off against some tough competition on other squads. like for instance, AJ Mitchell on UC Santa Barbara. He's been a big pain in the butt for sure, but now it looks like the University of Hawaii is not going to have to deal with him anymore. And of course, Zion Pullen was a big pain in the butt for UC Riverside, and I think he graduated. And Latrell Wrightsell Jr., he was on Cal State Fullerton. He transferred to Alabama. And I kind of thought that was kind of a forced transfer for some reason because of the trash talk that he put on the University of Hawaii, which I thought was extremely distasteful in the tournament last year after UH fell to Cal State Fullerton for a third consecutive time. Okay? But anyway, as far as basketball goes, of course, the reality is no college is immune to the transfer portal, especially the University of Hawaii. You know, we've lost our fair share of players, but we also have gotten our fair share of good players. Now, obviously, we've landed some good players. We have AJ Economou joining the squad for next season. Aaron Hunkin-Klater is coming back home. And just recently, UH Basketball picked up Marcus Greene, a.k.a. MarMar, as they call him. Unfortunately, he's a grad transfer, so we're only going to see him for one season, just like Tanner Christiansen. But for a guy at the point position, I think Marcus Greene will be a good pickup. And if certain circumstances gave guys like Juan Munoz and Justin McCoy an extra year, no doubt they would take it. And but still, UH has really got to do some serious Easter egg hunting over the summertime. But I think they'll find someone. But I think they'll find some players to possibly make a running for the Big West tournament and win it for the first time since 2016. It's not going to be easy, but we can do it. So, you know, of course, I also want to wish Mor Seck all the best in the world. And we're definitely going to miss someone like him for sure. So be good, Mor. I know you'll do a lot of good for your career. And I'm sure as hell going to miss you for sure. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. And remember, subscribe, and we'll see you all for UH Men's Basketball 2024-25. See you later, folks.